In Texas, if the forecast isn't changing, something might be wrong. There are definitely changes to talk about today, and I want to make sure you're familiar with those because they could affect your weekend plans. It's clear out there right now, nothing going on, and as we look at the temperatures, it's going to be another warm one today. One of the biggest changes from at least the last couple of days is that overnight it will be quite mild across our area, 66, 67 degrees. So no more chilly mornings, at least not for tomorrow, getting into the low 50s where it's a little bit chilly outside. Tomorrow it will feel much warmer than it has. This hasn't changed very much. The cap looks strong. Now, I will say that the likelihood of storms developing in our area has gone down even further. They started moving those storm chances northward, lifting those up a little bit, and that trend has continued for our area. So it really does not look like we have any likelihood of storms developing. We can't absolutely rule out that you might not have one or two storms somewhere along the dry line here in West Texas that pops up and does something, but the likelihood is just very, very low. Even less likely that it will be able to make it to the I-35 corridor in our area. So really not expecting much. I don't have storms in the forecast today, but tomorrow is a bit of a different story. We have this cold front coming in, and before we had the cold front coming in the morning, now it's slowed down, so now we have that ETA closer to the afternoon hours. You get the cold front plus daytime heating, that means storms are likely. So what we expect to happen is for storms to develop somewhere in our area. Could be as far west as the Hillsboro, Waxahachie, Rockwall line that we saw before. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. And then we could also see them a little further east along the I-45 corridor. So, from Waco to Corsicana there up to Kaufman. So it just kind of depends on where they pop up. 2 weeks ago, I expected it to be further east. Turns out it was a little further west, so it just kind of depends. So what we'll see is these storms will develop and then they will intensify as they move eastward. So time will tell where they pop up and how strong they get before they move east. So that is why we are under a risk for severe weather for that day. So again, here's Friday, and we've seen that moving northward, and they've moved all of that north of North Texas into Oklahoma and Kansas there. So really not looking at any kind of chance for storms as far as the Storm Prediction Center is concerned. Again, you can't rule it out here, but it's just not looking very likely. But here is Saturday. This has definitely been pushed to the west. I mean, we were talking, this was over here in Tyler and eastward. This has now been pushed westward to include parts of Ellis County and Navarro County in that marginal risk. But you see it goes as far west in the general thunderstorm area, this faded green from, western Johnson County down to Hillsboro. So we will see the beginnings of these storms somewhere in here, but they will quickly move east. So they won't be our problem very long, but it's hard to know how much they'll intensify. We could see some storms that are pretty strong in our particular area. Again, Saturday afternoon, could see some of these storms in our area. And really, for our particular area, I think the biggest risk will be large hail. If we're able to grow these storms enough. I'm not looking at much of a tornado or damaging wind threat because I don't think these storms will be able to mature too much in our area, but hail can happen pretty quickly. So I think that large hail will really be the only concern that we will have for our area. There's an empty slide there. So let's take a look at the forecast. Again, I've taken the storms out. It is breezy out today, though, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 25 to 30, 80 mile an hour, 80 degrees. Wow. 80 degrees for that high. Tomorrow, 85. Man, it is warm tomorrow. That cold front moves in. We'll probably see storms pop up somewhere between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So 20% chance of storms in the afternoon, most likely in our eastern counties. South winds continue 15 to 20 miles per hour, 85 degrees. And then that cold front comes in and we're back to the low 50s overnight. Sunday, much cooler, 72 degrees with a low of 48. So Sunday night, Monday morning will be a bit chilly. Monday, we're right back to the upper 70s, mid 50s for those lows. Tuesday, mid 70s, we have another chance of rain coming in. Wednesday and Thursday, we're back to the 80s. another chance of rain on Thursday. I'll have more on these chances of rain as we get closer. Still a little bit further out in the forecast. Neither one of these looks very intimidating at this time, but time will tell. The closer we get, the more information I'll have. So just keep in mind that this afternoon I'll be watching out west just in case something crazy happens and we happen to get a storm that pops through that cap. But tomorrow afternoon is our better chance to see possibly a few storms in our area as that cold front starts to ignite that unstable air, but they should move quickly to our east. So make sure that you're watching South Metro weather tomorrow as storms develop.